Hey, and welcome back. We are going to do a special
Semperfalis short.
Semperfalis short.
Do we call it a stubby?
A stubby. Yep. We call it a stubby because we got on the talking point of Dan Crenshaw at the end of our most recent live stream. And I think it's important that all of us get to know Dan Crenshaw just a little bit better.
Devil.
The devil himself. The man in the eye patch is probably covering up his alchemic eye.
I think you can see the swirling hellspawn that's usually behind it.
Yeah, he's a homunculus for
Do
anyone that
not like
watches
this
anime.
guy at all. You know what? And we were just talking about it off the last show, and I like the guy. I was like, all right, cool. Shipmate, yeah, get some. You know, you're doing the right things, you're saying the right things, and then poof, Las Vegas happened.
Yeah.
Las Vegas, the shooting.
Yeah, if anyone remembers, that was the shootout that happened. Was it the Mirage?
Mandalay Bay.
The Mandalay Bay.
Yep. Beautiful hotel.
Oh, yeah, I've stayed there before. But Dan Crenshaw.
Not a sponsor.
Not a paid advertisement. Especially because their cameras are terrible and they couldn't track him. But meanwhile, like in history, they had tracked.
Yeah.
They had tracked a rapist that followed a young girl into a bathroom and then assaulted her, and then they tracked the rapist out of the bathroom, through the lobby, out into the parking lot, through the parking lot, out into the street, and down the strip. But when the shooter was there, they couldn't track him.
Cameras went off. Epsteined.
Yes, Epstein. But let's get back to Dan Crenshaw.
What is it? Captain Crenshaw? Commander Crenshaw?
He's something.
Yeah, he's something. He served time in the Navy. So, real quick to recap, Dan Crenshaw comes off as this poster boy, conservative, right-wing guy, military, stands tall, got a nice beard.
You think he's going to... He comes off as a pro-conservative,
Yeah.
pro-constitutionalist, pro-civil liberties. You know, like, he comes off as someone who
Guy got
supports
shot in the face for that
individualism.
stuff.
Yeah, that's how he comes off. However, the truth about Dan Crenshaw is that he's a piece of shit.
And he wasn't even born in the United States.
That's true. He's not even really American.
Well, he was born to American mom and dad, so I'm not sure how that works.
But
he was
a
born.
natural-born American.
So he was born over in Glasgow, and then he kicked out to Katy, Texas, where he was raised for a few years, and then ditched out of there. His dad was an oil executive, so he grew up through the late formative years, his teen and his adulthood, and went to high school, college down in Columbia, and then went to Tufts in Boston.
In Boston.
Then got his commission with the Navy SEALs.
So where do you think he learned to be a corrupt piece of shit that was a liar? Do you think it was in Columbia or do you think it was in Boston?
Not Columbia University, because that's a complete possibility.
No, yeah, well, Columbia University is corrupt too. So he there's no telling where he gained his mystique.
Well, he came out of nowhere too.
See, I don't know when his career started, but I can tell you that I was a fan, and then I saw how he voted on certain things, and then I started to dig, and I was like, holy shit, I hate this guy.
Yeah.
And then I find out that he is on the list. He is from the class of 2019 Young Global Leaders, which is
The World Economic Forum.
World Economic Forum.
Klaus Schwab.
Yes. He is one with
Klaus Schwab.
It's got to go.
Hey, you were on there.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, so I mean that says a lot already, right? It's like anyone who's on the Young Global Leaders, you're like, can't be trusted. I mean, you're looking at this picture of Buttigieg, and I don't think anyone likes him.
Well, he was the one that had what we just talked about in the show was just buy an electric car.
Yeah, just
Meanwhile, he was like, I bike to work as he gets his SUV driven to him to the office and then pedals down the ramp.
Yeah, and watching him bike.
Come on.
That guy didn't look comfortable on a bike. He's probably worse on a bike than my wife is, and she's terrible. So, but this
It's a
guy,
fucking bike.
But
If you suck at riding a bike, you probably shouldn't be the transportation secretary.
well, he certainly didn't grow up American, unless he grew up in a big city. Because I think maybe city kids didn't get to enjoy the bike that much. But if you grew up in a rural area, then you were out riding your bike, hitting jumps, and having a good time.
Hey, Alex, you want to ride bikes? Yeah, let's go ride bikes.
You want to build jumps, bro? Yeah.
Yeah, total
Let's do some jumps.
sweet jumps.
Oh, dude, you see my bunny hop?
Yeah.
You see my J hop?
But Dan Crenshaw.
Yeah, but then there's Dan Crenshaw, and you look at him. Look at that mug, dude. He's a good looking guy. He served in the military.
Yep.
He got injured in the military. He was a Navy SEAL. Am I correct?
You're correct.
He's got his little promo videos of him jumping out of an airplane. If you didn't know anything about him, you'd be like, man, this guy's awesome.
America.
America.
Fuck yeah.
But then you read about him, and you're like, fuck this guy. He's a piece of shit.
Well, where did he start with? The red flag law right after Vegas?
I think it was red flag laws that started it all.
And I just like my political handbrake was just like pulled right there.
Yeah. So if you're watching this video and you didn't watch our live stream, please watch our live stream, because we talked about several topics that brought into the fold the red flag laws and how they've kind of caused some of the incidents that we discussed. And then in the moment of talking about the red flag laws, we talked about Dan Crenshaw. So, please, give it a view, give it a comment, and like and subscribe, all that jazz. But Dan Crenshaw don't like.
Well, it was the red flag laws that him and both Trump were like, take the guns first and then we'll due process second.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm pretty sure the Fourth Amendment says fuck you about that.
Yeah. So if you don't agree with due process, well, you got a problem, because due process. So you might not agree with it now because maybe it fits your narrative, it fits your perspective at this point in time.
Well, it wouldn't affect them because they don't own guns.
Yes, but if you found yourself on the outside of the narrative, if you found yourself being the one that isn't being supported by the mainstream, that doesn't have all the people pandering to you, you're gonna wish you had due process, because red flag laws are really messed up. All that has to happen with a red flag law is someone, and it doesn't have to be. It can be an anonymous tip.
Well, yeah, that's what the red flag laws locally we were watching come through. It was literally anyone could say anything, and then you have to plead your innocence because you're guilty until proven innocent in that case.
Yeah, and I don't even think you get to face your accuser.
No.
So it's the furthest thing from justice. It's injustice. And you have no due process, and you immediately lose your Second Amendment rights, which are ingrained and given to you by your creator and
just being
protected
alive
by the Constitution. They're not granted to you by the government, luckily, thank God.
I know, not going on a tangent, but I want to tell people that the Second Amendment doesn't give you the right to own arms. It literally says the right of the people, so it's already inferred that it already exists. It just says the government can't do a fucking thing about it.
Not a thing. And it shouldn't be able to do a thing, because you need the whole point of it is to protect yourself from a threat, to protect yourself from a foreign invader, and to protect yourself from a totalitarian government that has become too big for its britches.
Well, the worst part is people say, oh, that'll never happen. Not in today's day and age. We were English when we had to fight the English.
Yeah.
We weren't like Americans. We were British subjects fighting other British subjects to be free. So yes, we were fighting ourselves to be free. So yes, it can happen.
And we just saw it right across the border, like literally an hour away.
Oh God, the snowball fights in
Canada. Something similar.
But he was also for what was it, the anti-Semitic hate speech? That was a big thing with him about being anti-freedom.
Yeah, not only was he against hate speech, but he couldn't even defend himself, and he berated like a 9-year-old girl.
Yeah, oh man, can look that up and pull it up, because for a grown warrior of the United States to be so taken off his feet by what she had said to him was literally 100% redacted from what he said on his whatever he had to say.
And in the phrasing for his line of speech, he pretty much denounced his religion.
Well, that makes sense if he's on the
World Economic Forum.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's pull this up.
You gonna get your eardrums blown out?
Yeah. Oh, no, it's still on mute.
Oh, nice.
It's still on mute.
That was nice of them.
So it's not ready to play yet. I'm going to wait. I don't need you to watch their ads. But it's on Newsweek.
But he had gone on to whatever media platform he had and said what he said.
But it was essentially a campaign stop.
Well, yeah, that's all it was.
And then they were like,
"Hey, did you say this?" He was like, "Fuck you, little girl.
He's like,
I will stomp you.
I don't need to defend myself to a child." That's essentially what he said. But what he really said is, "My name's Dan Crenshaw, and I'm a little cuck boy." That's what he said.
Did he call her a dog-faced pony soldier?
No, that's Biden, man. That's Biden. Well, hold on. God, is this thing ever going to load?
There we go.
Oh, my God. He's defending himself there. Where's the actual video? There it is.
There we go. Whoa.
Wow, that's loud.
That's super loud.
All right, let me pull this up.
What a piece of shit to talk to a young child like that in a political event.
All right, so what you're looking at right here, and I don't even know if this is going to be too loud or not. This is Dan Crenshaw at a political event. He's being questioned about his hate speech support or hate speech banning laws that he has supported, which is anti-free speech. And hate speech is a subjective term because what I hate, you might not hate. And it might be hateful to you, but not somebody else. It's not illegal
to hate.
You can, if you can't air your grievances, so hate speech is it's a slippery slope, and everyone hates that argument. But they name one or two things hate speech, and then they name a couple more things, and eventually you lose your ability to air your grievances. You lose your ability to speak against the powers that be.
Yeah, it's a death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah, they'll term everything hate speech because what they do, they being the government, is they name everything with these benevolent names. And if you speak against them, then they can say, oh, well, you hate Ukrainians. You don't agree with supporting Ukraine. You hate Ukrainians.
It's like assault
That's
weapons.
hate speech. Oh, you don't want to send all your tax dollars to Israel? You're an anti-Semite. This is the world we live in, and it's already bad. Because of hate speech laws, you can't speak freely. As a matter of fact, this video, there's a good chance already, and not even because of the swears, there's a good chance this video will get removed because we're talking about one of their puppets, and they don't like that. But let's watch this video.
Uncle Klaus's prodigy.
Uncle Klaus Schwab.
Yeah! Crenshaw said, quote, "The most important thing here is that we have important hero archetypes that we look up to. Jesus is a hero archetype, Superman is a hero
He's not a real person.
Real characters, too. I could name 1,000. Rosa Parks, Ronald Reagan, end quote. I can't wrap my head around this.
Well, I'll help you.
Ignore the terrible video. We did not record it.
Don't question my faith.
Oh, shit. Hold on.
My faith. The word, well, I'll help you. Put a period after the word Jesus and don't question my faith.
Don't question my faith, you little heathen.
Like he even said architect type characters like Superman and Jesus, inferring that Jesus was not a real person.
Now this isn't new.
Period.
Like this isn't a current event, right? This happened months ago, and right now we're in 2022. This happened in 2021.
Yeah,
I don't even know what month. I'm gonna try to rewind to. So this girl is quoting him
verbatim
on a podcast. He was speaking, and then this girl took the ledger, if you will, from the podcast, and she's reading it back to him. And look how upset his own freaking words make him. He knows that he's a liar, and he got caught. And nothing makes a liar more angry than being exposed.
Before you push play, here's my problem with the citizen journalism. Like, who's ever recording this is part of the press. Once you start doing this, you're part of disseminating information. Where the hell are you to be like, who the fuck do you think you are to talk to someone like that? Call them out on their fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Stop acting like they're superior to you and that they can do this shit, because they're fucking not. Yeah. It's going to end real soon in America where they're going to be held accountable for when they behave like this.
Yeah, unless he has like a Cyclops laser beam eye underneath that eye patch. And then he'll get us. He'll just be like, buzz, and kill everyone.
Be like that scene from The Boys.
Yes, dude. Yes.
Just loses it.
All right, hold on. I want to listen to what the girl says. So ignore the camera angles, and me and Doc are not going to talk. We're just going to listen.
Yeah! Crenshaw said, quote, "The most important thing here is that we have important hero archetypes that we look up to. Jesus is a hero archetype, Superman is a hero archetype. Real characters, too. I could name 1,000. Rosa Parks, Ronald Reagan."
All right, time out. So if he considers himself to be truly religious, and I'm not very religious, but I give them all their own space. I'm not anti-religion, if you will. But he literally just says that Jesus is a hero archetype, but real characters are
compared
too.
him to Superman too.
Yeah. But the fact that he says, and real characters are too.
So he drew the difference.
You just lost everyone who practices religion because you just refer to, would he be the Messiah? What would you?
Superstitious Jesus.
You literally just referred to him as a figment of their imagination.
Yep. Because he drew the comparison that real people.
Yeah. So thank you, Dan Crenshaw, because I I'm glad I hate you, and it's just nice that other people are seeing it. But let's finish this. Let's watch him berate this little girl who quoted his own words to
just
him.
Real quick,
Yeah.
what would you do if that was your daughter and he talked to her like that?
I would have immediately snapped back at him.
Yeah.
Yeah. My little girl's not going to get yelled at for quoting somebody's own words to them. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen.
No.
It's like, listen, if you can't own up to your own words, and maybe don't say them.
Yeah, you dumb fuck.
If you can't defend, if you can't, hold on. If you can't defend your own position, if you can't defend your own mindset, then you have no business trying to tell other people to vote for you. You have no business trying to be a leader. So the fact that he's a young global leader by the World Economic Forum, one, it shows that the World Economic Forum's a joke. It's full of cronies that are just trying to control you via oligarchs. They don't have any real power. We give them power by buying their crap. So like, if you go and you buy a Coke, great, you just supported them. If you go and you buy a Pepsi, guess what? You still supported them because they own the same companies. If you buy Kellogg's cereal, you just supported them. It's you got to look at the web, and I don't mean the internet. I mean the web of ownership, the web of control.
PepsiCo.
Yeah, these oligarchs, and it sounds crazy. I know, I get it, but they own everything. So you've got to stay local. You've got to like we're drinking micro brews right now. And not just because they're delicious and strong, but also because I know I'm not paying into this corruption. You know, my taxes are.
Feed the machine.
Yeah, but I'm not feeding them in my regular purchase. The basic revenue is not going to them. They're stealing my tax dollars and abusing my tax dollars and sending it to these corrupt oligarchs. But my regular purchases, other than my Amazon ones, because goddamn Jeff Bezos built a good system. But the rest of my purchases aren't going to these fuckers. But let's listen to him berate this girl.
In quotes. I can't wrap my head around this.
You will, I'll help you. Put a period after the word Jesus and don't question my faith.
Wow.
Is it okay?
He should have snapped his damn fingers. Don't you question my faith, girl.
He sounded a little effeminate in that, didn't he?
Yeah, well, he is a bitch. So there's that. So I
was waiting for you to go the Navy route, but
nah, man, you're Navy. Yeah, but you're a corps man
by proxy.
Yeah, by proxy. I'll tell you what, though, like we talked about mutual combat on our last podcast, and I might not be the biggest or toughest, but man, I would love to do mutual combat with
just square up
with him. Oh my God, I think I'd do well. I really do. I mean,
he's got to get him from his right side.
No, I just mean in general, like you know, like it might not be strength or conditioning, but I would call it experience. You know, like I mean, but then again, I don't know what he did in Colombia. You know, he could have been fighting little kids in Colombia. Yeah, Chupacabra. I don't know what he was fighting. No, that's Mexico, right?
But the more digging you do, like, and we're going to continue to harp on the World Economic Forum and people that lead it. If you do just a little bit of shoveling and figure this out, there's a lot of people involved that are not good people who can deceive you pretty easily.
Look at this. So the headline of this, and this is the deplorable patriot, and you can weigh that how you will, but the facts are still facts. You know, they're going to spin them how they want. Gun confiscation. Dan Crenshaw and 133 other Republicans vote for military red flag law. If you serve your country, they don't give a shit. You're just a pawn. You're just a pawn. And we saw that during COVID, and this isn't Dan Crenshaw, but we saw that during COVID when they literally forced out people who didn't want to get an experimental injection. We saw that when they were trying to give people, you know, essentially re-education. And if they didn't agree with it, they were forced out of the military. Mm-hmm. And now you've got these red flag laws that are essentially focused on veterans. And I'm just not okay with it.
No. It's so the antithesis of freedom and liberty.
Yeah. And the other 133 Republicans, well, they say 113. Oh, no. Out of 316 votes, 133 of them are Republicans. And yeah, you could say that, well, it was only a third of it was
a fringe minority.
Only a third of them are Republicans. But every one of those Republicans should resign. And I'm not saying because they're Republican and they should vote one way. Actually, 316 politicians should resign because they don't believe in the founding principles of this nation.
Just the experiment in individual freedom and liberty.
It's ridiculous. And like we said before, if you believe in the rights that you were granted by your creator that are protected by the Constitution, then red flag laws are nothing but an infringement on that. All it does is take away your right to due process. It takes away your right to own your firearms without fear of some anonymous tip saying that you are not allowed to, or that you're a threat, or that you're mentally unstable, without any sort of actual
due process.
Yeah, and no diagnosis or anything. And first of all, if there was a diagnosis, that's a different story, because medically your records should be sealed. No one should be getting them. But according to Dan Crenshaw, he doesn't give a shit if your medical information is sealed, because Dan Crenshaw, hold on, let me pull this up. I'm going to switch over here. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I'm going to find it. There it is. Because yes. Dan Crenshaw,
big government. Dan
Crenshaw wants you to be on a vaccine database. And the thing about the database is that they're not very clear on the parties that have access to it.
That's kind of like the ATF and their 4473s.
Yeah,
we have them, but we don't know who looks at them.
So, Dan Crenshaw,
government,
doesn't want you to have due process. Doesn't want your Second Amendment to be protected. Doesn't want your First Amendment to be protected. Doesn't want your Fourth Amendment to be protected, and wants to keep an eye on you.
Next thing you know, he's going to want to put troops in my house.
And I meant only one.
Oh man,
because he's
an asshole.
I was going to say Cyclops, but okay.
He is. He's a piece of shit who just, for whatever reason, he got in. And now he thinks he can, the powers that be that got him there, he's beholden to them and their will that is the populist will, and that's what we're going to see.
And it's
and Trump was the same way too when a lot of this stuff came out with the red flag gun laws, the bump stock ban. Trump wasn't a true friend of freedom.
No, he was not.
No. Policy-wise, a lot of his policies worked. And when you look retrospect to what's happening now, it was a lot better 2 years ago than it was last year.
Yeah. Oh, last year. Last year was so bad.
So bad. My asshole still hurts.
Oh, my God. But you know what? It's okay. Because
Crenshaw's not our boy.
And it's not... I don't look at these things as Republican or Democrat. And I really want everyone to understand that. The problem is that more conservatives believe in civil liberties and accountability and responsibility and individual rights than do their Democrat cohorts. That's the only reason why I side one way versus the other. The Democrats prefer collectivism, which I understand to a point. I work in a collective system. I get it. My kids go to school in a collective system. I approve and support, and I am all for a lot of them. But when it comes to civil liberties, that is an individual liberty. Your civil liberty is your civil liberty.
Absolutely.
It's yours. So
no one can take that away unless you decide to live outside the fringes of society.
Yeah, and you know what?
And break the law.
Yeah, I mean, if you break the law, the problem is that they keep making these laws, and Dan Crenshaw's in line, spoon-fed World Economic Forum baby boy. He's in line with the rest of them, trying to take them away. He's no friend of your rights.
Mm-mm.
He's not. But he looks the part, and his advertising is the part. He is the outward demonstration. The way he portrays himself is a hard and fast military veteran that believes
super conservative,
that is super conservative and religious, and believes in the founding principles of this country. And it couldn't be further from the truth.
Nope.
The guy's a little cuck boy that doesn't want you to have your guns, wants you to be on a database, doesn't want you to talk about it,
and no free speech.
Yeah. So
that's our Dan Crenshaw dump for the night. That's your little Stubby from Semper Fallis.
Yeah, that's our little Stubby episode right there. Semper Fallis, always dick. Dan Crenshaw is a cuck. And we would love for you to like, subscribe, and follow whatever, I don't know, ring the notification bell. I don't know where this is going to end up. But please, we want you to stay informed. We want you to get our opinion on a lot of things, but some of them we just present. Some topics we just present objectively, and we talk about it, what's good, what's bad. Dan Crenshaw's all bad.
Bad.
Yeah. So if you want to stay dicked,
It's a one-eyed devil.
then you can keep voting for people like Dan Crenshaw, or if you're in Texas, you could also vote for Beto O'Rourke.
I would vote for that girl that asked him the question over his stupid ass.
I would too. But it's okay, because you know what? Dan Crenshaw won't go to hell, because according to him, Jesus is just a fictional character.
He's an archetype.
He's an archetype.
Superhero archetype.
So Dan Crenshaw will never be truly dicked, because according to him, Jesus isn't real.
Wow, that's powerful.
That's Semper Fallace, my friends.
Have a good night, guys.